Hey Ria, are you there? I just wanted to know what you were thinking being out this late. I mean, do you have any idea at all what time it is right now? You really need to start taking more responsibility for your things. Your room is just a complete mess, and you still aren't home to clean it up at all? Honestly, just what are you thinking? You do realize that now that you're married, it is your job to make sure that your house is kept nice and tidy, don't you?
Oh, hello, Ashley. I'm sorry, but what is all of this that you're talking to me about right now? That's an awful lot of text to get through, and I'd appreciate it if you could just tell me what's going on.
Well, I took it upon myself to visit my son's house and see how he is doing with his new wife. And imagine my shock when I walked inside and realized the state of the house that my poor boy is living in. Just what do you call this mess, huh? I mean, this is your home. You really ought to be taking better care of it, don't you think? How can you even accept living like this? It's just ridiculous. What is the matter with you, Ria?
I'm really sorry that you were upset at the way our house looks when you came over unannounced, Ashley. But the fact of the matter is that I'm very, very busy with work these days, and so I can only do what I'm able to. But the other thing you should know is that basically all of the mess in our house was caused by Sam, so I shouldn't be the one that you talk to about this. After all, I'm only ever able to do a little bit of cleaning during the few spare hours that I have on the weekends. I wish that I could do more, but I just don't have enough time in the week to dedicate to keeping my house clean.
You don't have enough time? Do you have any idea how obvious it is that you're just making up excuses for yourself right now? Listen to me. The matter of fact that you are married now, you're someone's wife, and you need to get that through your head. I mean, you may be working now, but your primary job should be taking care of the house and your husband. You do know that, don't you?
You think that my first priority should always be to keep my house clean and serve my husband? I'm sorry, but I'm just not sure if I agree with that at all. Besides, if Sam has any complaints about the way that we're living, he hasn't said anything to me about anything. So I think that I must be doing enough for him as things stand, or else I'm sure that Sam would have said something to me by now. So while I do appreciate your concern about the state of Sam and I's marriage, I really think that there's nothing to be worried about at all.
You really have no idea what you're talking about at all, do you? None of what you said changes the fact that you are married and have different duties than before you were unmarried.
I understand perfectly what you're saying, Ashley. What I'm saying is that my marriage is between my husband and you don't get to make demands of me.
I'm not talking about Sam at all, so you quit bringing up and trying to use him as a shield to hide behind, okay? I'm doing my duty as your mother-in-law to make sure that you are taking care of my son and doing your job as his wife. You think that Sam knows how to judge whether or not a wife is doing what she should be doing? Of course not. That's why it's my job as your mother-in-law to make sure that you're doing everything correctly. Because it is obvious to me that neither you nor Sam have your expectations set correctly, and it is my job to make sure that you learn your duty as my son's wife. So quit telling me, bringing up my son, and tell me that the messes are his or that he doesn't have any complaints. You don't get to badmouth your husband ever. Do you understand me?
So I suppose I should just keep my mouth shut, wait on Sam hand and foot, and let you tell me exactly how my marriage should be going?
You really have got some nerve talking to me like this, do you know that? I knew that you were going to be no good for my son, but I didn't know that you were going to be such a brat. And even now, you're just out on the town having fun and completely shirking your duties to your husband right now. You don't tell me that you're doing all you can when you're out partying right now.
And just who said anything about me being out partying, huh? You are making that up entirely in your head, Ashley. I am out working right now, if you must know. I told you that I'm busy, and I meant it.
You really think that you can just tell me that you're working and have that be enough for me to believe you and leave you alone? I'm not going to allow myself to be fooled by you at all. There is no way that you're working right now, and I'm not going to fall for your little lie.
I am not lying to you one bit, Ashley. If you don't want to believe me, then that is on you, but don't you dare call me a liar. I have a second job that I have to work at night for, and I have to work this in order to contribute to our family's expenses. That is why I am always too busy to do things like clean the house or do the laundry. I am just too busy with my jobs to be able to do the housekeeping on top of that.
There you again, making up all kinds of excuses just because you don't want to admit that you're a failure of a wife who needs guidance from her mother-in-law.
I already told you that I am not making excuses, Ashley. Why are you acting this way towards me? I just don't understand where you get off.
You know I didn't just show up to your unannounced. If you must know, it was Sam who called me over actually. He told me that his place was a complete mess and that he needed me to come over right away. He told me that he can't stand living like this anymore and wanted my help. Can you believe that your husband feels so alone and hopeless about his living situation that he turned to his mother and not you? Don't you think that tells you a lot about what you need to know? But then he asked me not to mention a word of any of this to you because he actually thinks that you're kind and caring, if you can believe it. He didn't want you to know a word about this, but I was not going to sit back and let you just slide by without realizing just what you're doing to your poor husband.
So that's what's really going on here then, is it? I really don't know why Sam just couldn't have been a little more patient with me. I already told him that I would clean the house as soon as I had a chance and that there was nothing to worry about at all.
I have no idea what you're talking about at all. You really expect me to believe that you were ever going to take care of this mess? If you were going to do it, then you would have done it already. That much is obvious to me. But now it's clear that you need to be taught about what being a good wife means. You are a lazy slacker who is taking advantage of your husband, and I'm not going to allow that any longer.
Are you even reading a word from the messages that I've been sending you? If you're not even going to listen to what I'm trying to tell you, then I think this conversation is over. I am going to have a little chat with Sam about all of this and let him know just how I feel about you coming into our house and criticizing me like this.
I really just can't believe that you're doing this again, Ria. When are you going to learn, huh? I mean, do you really think it's okay for you to be out this late when you're a married woman? Don't you realize the damage you're doing to your marriage by being this selfish? You're just a stain on my family as far as I'm concerned.
What is it now, Ashley? What could you possibly want? What is it that you're messaging me about now, huh? Because I am getting sick and tired of getting these kinds of messages from you.
I just mean that every single day this week you have been out all night doing who knows what, and you are completely ignoring the work that needs to be done at your house. You really are such an irresponsible girl, and you need someone to teach you a lesson. But I have been over with this every week, and I can't even say that I'm disappointed in you anymore.
Hold on a second. Have you really been coming over to our house every single day this week? Why are you doing that? What are you doing that you need to come over to our house so often? And if you're going to be doing that, I would really appreciate it if you'd message me beforehand about you coming over. Although if you really want to know, I have made sure that the house is much, much cleaner than it was a few days ago.
Actually, the reason that I've been coming over is try and see how you're doing. I just need to know whether or not you're still someone who deserves to be married to my son.
Excuse me? You can't be serious about that, right? Are you really saying you're coming over to try and inspect me or something?
I'm just doing what any good mother would and making sure that their son's wife is up to the level that she should be. Is that really so wrong?
Did you really just ask if that's wrong for you to judge your son's wife? Yes, of course that's wrong.
Well, that is what I was afraid that you would say. Although, just from the times I've come over and the conversations we've had, it's clear to me that you are, in fact, not good enough to be with my son. But you should also know that I've taken it upon myself to throw away all your belongings from here, so you shouldn't even bother coming back home here. Now that you spend any time in your own home anyways, you're always out doing who knows what. You really ought to be ashamed of yourself. I mean, do you think this is any way for a married woman to be acting? Don't you feel bad for your husband at all? I'm sure that there are a million other women out there. who would be a much better match for Sam.
Hold on a second. Did you really just tell me that you threw away my stuff? Please tell me that you weren't serious about that. Did you really do that?
Of course I did it. You think that I would lie to you about that? Unlike you, I'm not all talk. I act too.
For the last time, I am telling you that I am not out partying or whatever it is that you think I spend my nights doing, Ashley. I am literally working my second job that I need to do in order to support the two of us. But you took my being out of the house tonight as a sign that you could just throw away all of my things? How could you do that to me? What is the matter with you?
What is the matter with me? I want to know what the matter with you is, that what you think you can go run around doing whatever you want at all hours of the night. I only did this because it was obvious that you weren't going to be changing your night-crawling ways anytime soon. I tried to warn you, but you just wouldn't listen to me. You gave me no other choice but to take matters in my own hands.
Have you been reading a single one of these messages that I've been sending you? Why is it like I'm trying to talk to a brick wall when it comes to you? I have told you over and over and over again that I am not going out at night to have fun or party or see friends or anything at all like that. I am out every single night because I am busy working. Don't you get that? I am working to support my husband and I, in fact.
I don't care how many times you repeat the same thing over and over and over to me, because I know that every time you do is nothing but lie. You're a liar, and you're making my husband work all around the clock so that you can do whatever you want. You just want to take advantage of Sam and have him pay for your crazy lifestyle. Admit it. Or don't. I don't care. It doesn't matter at all to me anymore. Know that I've thrown out all your stuff. You're not welcome back to that house anymore. Do you understand me? You are on your own from here on, Rhea.
Well, okay then. I guess you can go ahead and wish Sam good luck when he only earns about $300 a month.
Wait, what? What is that supposed to mean? Why would you say that he only earns $300 a month? What on earth are you talking about?
You know what? I am not going to go along with this conversation anymore. I don't even know why I waste my time with you to begin with. In fact, I already am starting to feel as if a big weight is being lifted off of my shoulders now that you've kicked me out. It's like I'm finally free. I'll even do you one further and tell you that Sam and I are going to be getting a divorce now. Go ahead and let him know that we are through.
Now you hold on there for just a moment. You and I aren't through here until I saw that we're through. Now you rewind and tell me exactly what you meant when you said that he only makes $300 a month. That doesn't make any sense at all, and you will explain yourself right now.
You mean you're finally starting to listen to what I'm trying to tell you? Well, it's about time. Actually, I think it's a bit late if you really want to know. But if you want to know the truth about what's going on, you would be better off asking Sam yourself. Got it? All I've done is tell you the truth about what I've been doing, but you just refuse to listen to me. But the facts of the matter are that I haven't been the one going out and partying every night. That has actually been your son.
Hold on just a moment there. You must be getting the number wrong. There's no way that my son is making such little money. Surely you meant to say that he's earning $300 a month, right? Did you really think I was going to fall for that lie? How dare you keep trying to shift the blame for everything on my son? You have really got some nerve. Just what is even the point of doing that, huh? What do you think you have against him that you need to keep lying to me about you too?
You want to talk about trying to shift the blame onto people? You were the one who threw away all of my stuff to try and get me to end things with Sam, right? Well, guess what? You've won. Congrats! You're going to get your way, and Sam and I are going to get a divorce. You did it! I hope that you're happy, because I never ever want anything to do with you or him ever again as long as I live. Now, good luck supporting Sam when he makes so little on his own, and whatever happens next, leave me out of it.
Rhea, are you there? I was just hoping that you and I could chat about something really quickly. I tried calling you earlier, but you didn't pick up. Are you busy right now? I really do need to talk to you about this.
I am busy and I don't want to hear your voice even if I wasn't. If you have something that you want to say to me, you can type it out here, thank you very much.
Ria, come now. Why are you acting this way towards me? We're family, aren't we? You should know better than this.
Family? Us? That's very rich. But no, we're not family. Just hurry up and tell me what you want already.
Well, the thing is that I talked to Sam about you moving out and all, and the divorce.
I really hope that you told him the part where you threw away all of my things and basically left me with no other choice but to leave.
Well, the thing is that Sam and I were talking about all of this, right? And I mentioned to him about what you told me with his lack of money and all, and well, it's true.
I know that. I was the one who told you about that in the first place, and you just kept insisting that I was lying to you, remember? Is that what you came to talk to me about? Because I've already told you the whole truth, and I don't have anything else to say to you. I was honest with you through and through, and you just refused to listen to me.
I know, I didn't listen, but I didn't believe it. I was sure that there was some kind of mistake going on, but then Sam explained it all to me, and it was only then that I realized you were being honest with me.
Well, I'm glad that you've learned that I've been nothing but honest with you over this, but just how many times did you make me explain this to you? You didn't listen to me. You didn't believe me. You ignored all that I was trying to tell you. This is all your fault. So I really have no idea why we're even talking right now.
I thought that you were spending all your nights out of the house partying or something while Sam was working hard to fund your lifestyle. I was just trying to be a good mother and protect my son. Surely you can understand that, right?
I understand that I explained the truth to you over and over again, and you just never listened to me at all. But I don't see how any of this has anything to do with me at all now.
I know, but you can just stop all this and go back to the way things were, can't you?
What do you mean, go back to the way things were? You mean you want me to pretend like none of the past few days happened? You can't be serious about that, right?
I just mean that Sam is so upset with me right now. He's really, really mad. He keeps going on about how it's my fault that you want to leave him. Because he's telling me that he doesn't want to divorce you at all. He doesn't want any of this to be happening. So please, can we just pull all this silliness behind us and go back to the way things were? I realize now that I may have made a mistake here.
You really are one of the most selfish people I've ever met. You know that? I mean, you were the one who threw away my things, and now you want me to come back?
Oh, don't worry. I did my best to get back as much of your stuff as I could. Of course, I sold a lot of your clothes, so those are gone forever, I'm afraid. But I have a bunch of boxes in the house with your name on them. If I return your things to you, will you please not leave my son like this?
Oh, well, thank you so much for getting my stuff, but the answer is still no. We're going to get a divorce, and that is final.
Please, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. I can't take off my son. I thought that was going to be your job from now on.
Ashley continued to blow up my phone, and I finally had to tell her that I was going to block her and that she would be hearing from my lawyer for what she did with my things. Even Sam began to reach out to me and beg me to come back, but even he gave in and signed the divorce papers finally. The next month, he wasn't able to afford rent in our old place and was forced to move out. He told his mom that since this was all her fault, that he would be moving in with her for the foreseeable future. As for me, after Ashley threw away my things, I moved to a new place and didn't tell either of them where my new address was. Although I have heard through the grapevine that Ashley and Sam are fighting every single night as Sam refuses to get a job and demands that his mom pays for everything. It seems like she's finally realized what a lazy leech her son is, but I'm afraid that it's far too late for her to do anything about that now.
Alice, have you decided whether you want to move in with us?
I've told you many times, but I have no intention of living with you.
But are you sure that you're not going to regret your decision?
Yes, I'm sure I'm not going to change my mind about this.
You're sure?
How many times are you going to ask me that?
Melanie is getting married.
Oh, really? Good for her. Congratulations.
Melanie's fiancé is still young, and he doesn't make much money.
Well, I figured as much. Melanie's still young too.
And I think the two of them will be living with us.
I see. Isn't that good news for you? I'm sure you're thrilled about this. So now there's no need for you to ask us to move in with you.
I just want to make sure that you don't regret your decision later, though.
Were you even listening to what I said up until this point?
Don't you understand that Sean wants to live with us? You're the only thing holding him back. I also miss not having him around the house. Won't you reconsider? Don't you feel bad for keeping Sean from me?
What do you want me to say? Sean and I decided together that he'd be moving out of your house when we got married.
You're a mother now. You should know how I feel. How can you not sympathize with me here?
We told you that Sean would be moving out. You were okay with our decision before. What changed? Also, I don't intend on quitting my job. I love my job. Our home is close to where both Sean and I work. If we move to your place, it will take us over an hour to get to work. It just doesn't make any sense.
That is not the point. Now that you have a daughter, doesn't it make sense for you to live with us?
You're not listening to me. You're trying to make all the decisions here. You don't know what Sean really wants. Why do you assume that moving in is what he wants?
Well, Sean is kind and he cares about his parents. He can't tell you how he really feels because you'll chew him out. If you try to listen to him, he'll tell you how he's really feeling.
Well, how about you take this up directly with Sean then? You told Melanie that Sean married the wrong person. Instead of complaining to Melanie about me, why don't you let Sean know how you really feel about me?
I would, but you don't let me see him as much as I want to. If you say yes to living together, everything will work out for the better, I assure you. And if you're going to continue working, you could use help from us in raising your child.
There's a daycare at my workplace, so I don't need your help. Why are we even having this conversation right now? Melanie and her fiancé are moving in with you, so what's the problem?
That is our son! I want Sean to take care of us if anything should happen to us as we get older. Melanie's fiancé needs to do the same for his family, so I can't expect them to look after us. That's why it's so important to us that your family move in with us. You should stop being so selfish and think about what's important for this family. You're part of this family now, so you should follow our rules. I haven't complained until now, but it's about time that you prioritize our needs before your own. I really do think that Sean chose the wrong person to marry. I can't rely on Melanie because she's going to be part of a new family soon. If you agree to come live with us, I'll ask Melanie and her fiancé to move out so the house won't be so overcrowded.
Isn't that a bit rude? You can't do that to Melanie and her fiancé.
Well, Sean is more important to me. I'm only being nice to you because you're married to my son. And if Sean is going to move in with us, I don't even need you to move.
I see. I understand how you feel. Do you want me to divorce Sean then? Will that make you happy?
Huh?
Well, that's what you want, isn't it? I'll divorce Sean for you.
You're not making any sense.
You just told me that you didn't need me in your family. I'll speak to Sean tonight about the divorce and your wishes for this family. I don't think that he'll want to divorce me, though. He loves me too much. I'll also let Melanie know how you feel about me.
Why do we need to involve Melanie? She has nothing to do with this.
I'm going to tell her that you're going to kick her out as soon as Sean moves in with you, and that you love Sean more than her.
There's no need for you to tell her that. You'll just end up hurting her.
What about my feelings? You seem to have no problem hurting me.
You're such a bitch. You just want to pull me apart from my family. You are a monster.
I just spoke to Melanie. She told me that her father also asked her and her fiancé to move out if Sean was going to move in. She told me that she's not going to move in with you if there's a high chance she'll be kicked out soon after that.
What? She can't do that! She already promised us she'd move in!
It seems that your husband spoke to her before you did. He told her that Sean and I are moving in with you and that there was no room for her and her fiancé. She was really angry with her father after that. She has no intention of moving in with you anymore.
Well, how come Melanie didn't come to me first?
Melanie told me that she spoke to her father yesterday. I guess she's angry with you too. That's why she came to me and not you. Did you tell your husband that Sean and I were moving in with you? How could you? I've been telling you that that's not what we want.
Well, I figured I could persuade Sean to move in. And I knew that I would have to ask Melanie to move out if Sean was moving here. I didn't think she would move out right away, though. And my husband wasn't supposed to say anything to Melanie.
It's because you're being selfish and not thinking about what everyone else in this family wants. I'm sure that your husband became impatient with you and decided to let Melanie know what you were really thinking. Melanie already knows that we have no intention of moving in with you.
Well, what about what Sean wants? What if he wants to live here with us? He would want to take care of us when we're too old to take care of ourselves.
How can you assume that? You don't know anything. I don't think Sean wants to live with you. To be honest, I'm really annoyed that you keep on pestering us to move in with you. That's all you ever talk about. I'm starting to dread even seeing you face to face out of fear that you'll force us to move in with you. Melanie is also fed up with your behavior. She wants nothing to do with you anymore. As for Sean and I, we don't plan to come to see you for some time. We need a break.
Melanie would never say that about me. You're just making things up to hurt me. She may be slightly annoyed, which is why she's siding with you now, but she'll come to her senses. I know she will.
You said that Sean was more important to you than her behind her back. She was devastated when she found out.
I didn't mean it like that. She misunderstood me. I meant to say that Sean is the older one, and as the older brother, he should be responsible for looking after us. Especially since Melanie is marrying into a new family soon.
Melanie knows that you've been nagging us to move in with you. She agreed to move in with you in the first place because she felt sorry for Sean and I. She was just trying to protect us. She was really hurt when she found out that you favored Sean over her. I can totally understand why she would feel that way.
What do you mean by that? Did you also tell her that I said her fiancé doesn't earn enough money?
I didn't say anything to Melanie. She probably found out through her father. She wasn't trying to move in with you to save money, she was just being a good daughter. She was willing to look after you if Sean and I couldn't. She's your daughter. You should have known that Melanie would do something nice like this. She has a kind heart.
I didn't mean to hurt Melanie's feelings. I really did want her to move in with us. But I figured that she'd want to move out eventually. I guess I was just trying to act strong.
It just sounds like you're making a bunch of excuses. Shouldn't you be telling Melanie this directly instead of me?
Well, Melanie won't pick up my calls. I think she's very angry with me. Would you mind telling her how I really feel?
Melanie doesn't want to talk to you or hear what you have to say to her. I also showed Sean the conversation we've been having over chat up until now. He just got home from work. I thought that he ought to know how his mother was acting.
What did Sean say?
He said he'd rather cut off all ties with his parents than divorce me.
Sean would never do that to us. Sean's my son. You're lying again. He can't abandon us.
He's going to give you a call soon to talk to you directly about this. But first, he's going to talk things over with Melanie. As for me, please don't try to get in touch with me anymore. I have nothing more to say to you. You stress me out. It's not good for my mental health. By the way, I'm pregnant with my second child.
You're pregnant? When did you find out?
Yes, I'm pregnant.
Do you know if you're having a boy or a girl?
It's a boy.
That's great! Now you have more the reason to move in with us.
Since Sean's going to cut all ties with you, I don't plan on introducing my new baby to you.
You can't keep me from my own grandson! That's cruel, even for you!
See, all you care about is yourself. Hasn't it ever occurred to you that we don't want to spend a minute more with you? You're stressing me and my family out.
I'm sure we can work something out. We can come up with a plan that makes everyone happy. Could you please persuade Sean and Melanie not to be so mad at me? It's all a big misunderstanding.
You can't take back the mean things you said about everyone. You're a grown-up. You, of all people, should know that. You treated me like an outsider, and you backstabbed your own daughter. You're a terrible person.
I'm so sorry. I see how wrong that was now. Please forgive me. I didn't mean any of it. Seriously.
We're not going to forget the horrible things you said about us. How about you and your husband take care of yourselves for the rest of your lives? Don't expect to be seeing your grandchildren anytime soon. Melanie and Sean talked things over and came to a mutual decision. They both wanted nothing to do with their parents. If one of their parents got sick, they would figure out what to do when the time comes. For some reason, their father was livid with their decision. But Melanie and Sean didn't care, and they continued to ignore their parents completely. The following year, Alice gave birth to a healthy baby boy. But Alice and Sean didn't go out of their way to introduce him to his grandparents. They had the decency to send Sean's parents a Christmas card informing them of the birth of their new grandson, though. If only Sean's mother hadn't been so pushy and stubborn about Alice and Sean moving in with them, things might have turned out better for everyone. We're left to wonder whether Sean, Alice, and Melanie will ever forgive Sean's parents.
Allison, the preparations for the wedding should all be completely perfect, right?
Good evening, Melinda. I made sure to get whatever I could done for the wedding. At this point, all there is left to do is wait for the wedding and get excited.
What kind of crap is that you're saying to me?
Huh?
You are supposed to be working until the very last minute to make sure that the wedding is perfect and that there is no chance of anything going south. Have you made sure to think of what'll happen when I come on stage and things like that?
Wait, this is going to be the wedding for Charlotte, right?
That's right. My daughter's wedding. And if you don't make sure that it's 100% perfect for all of us, then you are going to be in some serious trouble.
That's not why I asked that. I asked because I'm a bit confused why you think I have to prepare anything for you to come on stage like it's your wedding. I know that Charlotte is going to be walked onto the stage by her dad at the start, but you're supposed to be sat in your seat the whole time the wedding is taking place, right?
That is not a good enough excuse for me to just sit around all day. I am the mother of the bride, Allison, and that means I'm supposed to be treated like the queen at this wedding.
So that's why you want me to prep for you on stage. Well, I never heard from Charlotte about her having anything planned for you.
If you don't start to think about this wedding and what I'll be doing a bit more seriously, you will really regret ever marrying my son. Do you really want to give up your rights as a young wife in this family? Fix your way of thinking, right now, and then hurry up and get back to work on the wedding. Charlotte and I are too busy to be looking over your back every second of the day.
All right.
I'm sorry, Allison. I wish my mom wouldn't ask you to do such stupid things all the time. I see she's even forced you to start doing those stupid things for her. So if you feel that you shouldn't have to, you could tell her no.
Well, I don't really mind it all that much, Tyler. But I didn't think your mom was supposed to have a moment on stage or anything at the wedding. So I'm not really sure what to do about it.
You can't just overlook what she asked you to do. She's just talking out of her butt like that. And Charlotte's already told me that she wants to make up the plans herself for her wedding. So you really don't have to listen to my mom at all. Because this wedding all comes down to what Charlotte wants. I'm sure if you go tell Charlotte about what my mom's asking from you, she'll be able to tell Mom to shut up, and that will be that.
And I did do that by getting a hold of Charlotte and talking with her more about what she wants, but even after talking to her, your mom still thinks she's in control.
We all know that she's been a pain in the butt, and even my dad is getting tired of her attitude. To be honest, after Charlotte gets married, I think things between my mom and dad will begin to fall apart.
What? What do you mean?
My dad is getting really fed up with mom's selfishness, and from what I've heard, even these past few years being married to her have been really tough. So I think that once my sister is married and out of the house, my dad can finally relax a bit and start focusing on himself and moving away from mom. Even I want my dad to break free from my mom's grasp and enjoy his life a bit more.
So that's what's been going on. Well, before any of that can happen, we have to make sure that Charlotte has a great wedding. I'll continue to do my best with making this wedding perfect for her, so that not just Charlotte is happy, but also so that your dad can be happy as well. What's going on, Tyler? I'm currently on the road right now, but just stopped to use the bathroom.
Things are not good right now. My dad has passed out and fallen down badly.
What?
You listen here, Allison. Did you forget that today is the day of my daughter's wedding? You are supposed to be here at 10 a.m. to start getting things ready for the start, yet I haven't found you anywhere yet. How much longer are you planning to keep everyone waiting for you?
What? Melinda? What are you talking about right now?
I am not going to forgive you for being this late to my daughter's wedding. It is the day of my daughter's wedding, and you have a job to do.
Hold on for 1 second, Melinda. Do you have no idea about what's going on right now? How could you not be aware of what's happened? Today the wedding has been canceled to the best of my knowledge, but...
Huh? What the hell did you just say? You really think you're being a good wife to my son in this family? I'm going to strip that title away from you right now! You and Tyler are getting a divorce if it's the last thing I make you both do.
What are you going on about? Why are you getting so upset with me over nothing right now?
I think I have the right to be pissed off at you after canceling on my daughter's wedding without telling anyone. We have all been waiting for over 30 minutes now for you to get here so that we can start the wedding.
I don't think I've done any such thing before the wedding though, Melinda. So before you continue to get more and more flustered with me, take a look around you and tell me what you see.
I'm not going to let you get off easily after not showing up for the beginning of Charlotte's wedding.
Please don't tell me that you actually have no clue what's going on right now. I thought that Tyler already called you telling you about what's happened and explaining to you that the wedding's been canceled.
Why do you keep talking about the wedding being canceled? The only one that's canceled anything is you being here today, and you told nobody a thing about it. You are the worst woman a family could ever ask for. If you don't want me going out of my way to ruin your marriage with my son, you get your butt to this wedding right now!
But everyone is here with me at the funeral home.
Huh?
I think between the two of us, you should be the one getting your butt over here right now if you don't want relations to get any worse between you and your family. It seems to me like you either didn't read or listen to anything Tyler told you yesterday, or you never received anything in the first place. But you do realize what you're doing right now by not being here?
Funeral home? Why are you all there? Did you all get the address confused or something and end up over there?
No, Melinda, the reason we're all here is because your husband passed away.
Huh?
Did you really not know about your husband collapsing yesterday and passing away? You should have been getting calls all day from family in the hospital about your husband's condition.
Well, why would I answer any calls from numbers that I've never seen before? There's no way that he's dead right now. You were just trying to pull some childish prank now, right? My husband is dead? No way in hell is my husband dead right now.
The doctors have said it looks as though he had a heart attack which caused him to pass out. It's already been known for a while that he's had a pretty weak heart, so it makes sense that all the stress recently would cause this.
So all those calls yesterday from Tyler were about my husband having a heart attack. Recently, he had called me warning me about my attitude towards you and all, so I just assumed he was calling me to warn me about that crap again. That's why I ended up muting his calls for the rest of the day yesterday. So, my husband, he's really...
I'm sure that you're in a panic now that you finally learned the truth, but regarding the wedding, it has been canceled and there will be no one showing up to it. So, I did not end up not showing to the wedding today like you think I have. And I never would do something as rude as that, especially since you forced me to do all the preparations for the wedding without getting my take on that decision first.
So the wedding is...
After what happened to your husband yesterday, we had all the family come to the hospital to be there with us. But where were you yesterday evening, Melinda, while everyone was with your husband at the hospital?
Huh? Me? I was just really busy getting any last-minute preparations taken care of before the wedding.
Last-minute preparations, huh? What kind of last-minute preparations are we talking about here?
Hey, I had a lot of beauty treatment appointments that I needed to go to look good for the wedding. It wouldn't be right if the bride's mother looked like a mess on the day of the wedding, right?
So you were out getting ready for things that only mattered to you. Even going as far as to avoid listening to your son, also that you had time to make yourself look good? And that's what led you to being out really late last night with nobody knowing where you were? And when anyone in the family tried calling you, you immediately put them to voicemail?
I didn't get any calls last night.
But you just told me that you ignored all of Tyler's calls and even muted him when you got tired of the ringing, right? I'm sure there were plenty of calls from the hospital as well.
And I told you just a second ago why I didn't answer them. I thought that those were all just spam calls and that it wasn't worth my time answering them.
What about all the calls that came from the rest of your family? Oh, that's right. The rest of your family doesn't really like talking to you anymore and would rather just let you sit in the dark on things. Most of them don't even know your contact information now because you've never told them, and they've never bothered asking.
Excuse me?
Anyway, I know that Tyler tried calling you plenty of times yesterday, but you chose not to answer any of his calls and muted him on purpose. And you've even told me you did all that just now yourself.
So, what is going on with my husband right now? Is he going to be okay?
Huh? Have you not been listening to anything I've said to you today? I told you already that the family and I are all here at the funeral home. Do you not understand how all of us being here right now ties into your husband having a heart attack and passing away?
So if you're all really at a funeral home right now, then he must really be dead. That cannot be possible, right? Right before our daughter's wedding day?
Are you finally coming around to seeing the truth and getting emotional from it? I'm telling you, Melinda, your husband is gone and it all happened to him yesterday. And this was all happening to him last night while you were out having a fun time with his money, getting all the most expensive treatments.
What the hell is this? I didn't know anything about what was going on with him.
Why did he think yesterday was the best time to go off and die like that? The best time? I don't think your husband had a choice in choosing the best time to pass away, Melinda. If anything, he didn't want to pass away the day before his daughter's wedding. I know it must suck to have all your family hate you to the point where they won't even try and get a hold of you about what's happened, but at least Tyler was trying to let you know. I know that he was trying to call me a lot, but I didn't think he had anything important to say to me, and that's why I ignored it. You can't blame any of this on me, right? It's not my fault. Why didn't you all try harder to get a hold of me when this was going down? You guys could have been sending me texts as well that I could have read later, right? Tyler told me that he sent you a text. He sent you a message explaining that things weren't going well for his dad and that it was an emergency. You're right. He did send me a text saying that. Well, then you really are the only one that can be blamed for not knowing about what happened to your husband yesterday. Today we are planning to have the wake for your husband. And at the moment, we all are working on getting the funeral planned out and prepared for him. This is all coming to me so fast that I can't fully comprehend it. I'm sure it is. But this is all the hard reality we are having to live in, Melinda. Then what's going to happen to my daughter's wedding? What? I've been looking forward to that wedding for a very long time now, and I was so ready for it to happen today. What the hell are we going to do about it? I'm sure that even Charlotte has been waiting a long time for this day to come, right? Melinda, what the actual hell are you going on about now? Are you even aware that your husband is dead right now? And will never be coming back to see any of us again? I get that he's gone, but I'm talking about the wedding now, which has nothing to do with him dying and that funeral. Well, Charlotte has taken a lot of time to talk about the wedding with her husband, and they are going to have their wedding on a different date. What? Oh, that's bullcrap, right? They're going to delay the wedding? I can understand why someone like you would have a hard time even comprehending this. But why have you ended up this way? You should know that because of her father passing away only yesterday, she wouldn't want to have a wedding right now. It's been months now that you've been acting so self-centered about this whole wedding, which isn't even yours. The amount of times you've tried making it all about you is good reason for your family to continue hating you and never wanting to be involved in your life. What are you trying to say, Allison? I know that all you think about is yourself, and about how to make yourself look even better, never taking a second out of your life to think about your family and what they want. Do you remember how you made sure you were at the center of my wedding when it happened? I was only at the center of it because I'm a very good-looking woman. And I do think that at your age, you are a very good-looking woman. But you showed up to my wedding in an all-white dress like that. Nobody told you to wear a white dress that day, and as the bride, I told you explicitly not to wear a white dress. But you did it anyway, and that's what made you steal the spotlight from my husband and I, right? And this time, I made sure to get myself an even better-looking white dress for Charlotte's wedding, but now it's all been a waste of time. I rented this gorgeous-looking dress just for today, and I have to have it returned to the store by tomorrow afternoon. Wait! I can wear it to my husband's funeral today. He was my husband, after all, right? I have to be the one to stand out in an event like that, right? Did you get dropped on your head a lot as a baby, Melinda? What did you just say to me? You are my son's wife, so you should never be talking to me like that. You want me to make sure that you never get to call my son your husband ever again? The only one that's been divorced is you, you whore. Huh? Did you know that right before your husband had that heart attack and passed away, he sent in divorce paperwork asking that you no longer be his wife? He had had enough of the way you acted like a self-centered child around everyone, and his idea was, after the wedding had finished, he would pack his stuff up and get out of the house for good. He made sure to write down everything he thought in a letter addressed to you as well.
You're lying, right? He had the two of us divorced without telling me. Can he really do something like that to us without having my permission as well?
Well, the divorce papers that he turned in were something that you had already planned out and filed in, right? So all I had to do was sign his name on them and take them into the city office to be handled.
But I wasn't planning on going through with any of that just yet, Allison. What the hell did he think he was doing, handing them all in without telling me first?
Well, you were trying to make your daughter's wedding all about yourself, even though she told you time and time again to stop. And on top of that, he also knew about how you would threaten me with divorcing me from Tyler if I didn't do as you asked. So I think he was just tired of being married to a whore that kept on making everything about herself and never giving any thought towards the family. I myself understand why he would divorce you. Heck, I respect that man for making it this long with you after all the crap you've pulled.
Why are you being such a rude witch right now?
Well, it doesn't matter anymore now because he is no longer with us. The husband that looked after you and made sure to take the responsibility for all your selfish behavior is no longer here to help you. He died while you were doing what you always do, and that was thinking about only yourself and no one else. How about you think about how sad that is and start crying a little over what's happened to him?
I am sad about what's happened. The wedding that was supposed to be today has been canceled and moved to a later date.
For Christ's sake! You are such a joke, Melinda!
Well, so be it. I'm going to start heading over to you guys right now. I'll at least be able to put myself on display at that funeral for everyone to see. Go and tell everyone that I'll be arriving at the funeral home very soon, okay? I have to make sure that everyone knows that losing my husband has taken a great toll on me now.
Right now, Tyler is talking with everyone else in the family.
About what?
He's telling them that his dad had already divorced you before he passed away. And at the moment, they are all agreeing that you are nothing more than a complete stranger now and don't have to come to the funeral.
What are you talking about, Alice?
It seems that both Tyler and Charlotte do not want you here getting in the way of their last day being around their father.
Then what the hell? I'm his wife, though.
No, you are not, Melinda. You have been divorced by him now, and that makes you nothing more than a stranger to everyone here. And even when you were his wife, everyone here hated you.
Why, though? Why would they all hate me to the point that they don't want me there?
To put it straight, you were a terrible wife for him and an even worse mother to your kids. I'm sorry, Melinda, but I don't think you and I will ever be seeing one another again after this. So I'll be going now.
Wait! Don't throw me away like my husband did, Allison! Please tell me where that funeral home is.
Why the hell would I have a reason to tell you? All I want for you is to regret everything you've done to this family and nothing more. Oh, goodbye now, Melinda. And I hope you have a good rest of your life alone. In the end, Melinda was never allowed to attend the funeral of her ex-husband and had to live the rest of her life not ever having the chance to see her ex for the last time. And after the funeral had finished, Allison, Tyler, and Charlotte all agreed to let her have the house she was living in, but that she'd never get to see or hear from them all again. When she was finally left alone with nothing more than an empty house, she began to realize that what she'd been doing really was childish and not acceptable for a woman her age. But her being regretful of her poor attitude has come far too late now, right?
Vicky, are you there? Do you have a moment to chat at all, really quick? I just wanted to let you know something if you had a moment to text. Okay, I guess not. So I guess I'll just leave you a message here letting you know that I'm going to be moving back in with my parents. So, anyways, I'm really looking forward to seeing you soon, Rumi. Hope you're as excited as I am.
Wait, what? What are you talking about right now? What is this?
I mean that, well, let's just say that things aren't exactly going super well with my husband, and so... Well, anyways, I just don't really want to be dealing with him right now is all. But anyways, I'm just glad that I'll be coming home to people who understand and are on my side. People like you. Isn't that right?
I'm sorry, Danny. You're going to have to slow down and go over this with me one more time. I mean, is this some kind of joke or something? Or is it just your way of messing with me like you always do? Because I don't know why you think you can just come back here all of a sudden. Don't you remember you saying that you were never ever going to come back here?
I have no idea what you're talking about at all, Vicky. I mean, it's not like you really even have a right to be complaining about me coming home or anything like that. After all, you're living with my parents at their house, remember?
I know exactly whose house I'm living in right now, thank you very much for telling me. But that isn't even what I'm talking about right now. I mean that you were telling me that you're coming to live here with way too little heads up. But it doesn't matter because I also have some big news that I need to tell you. So just make some time to talk to me later today, okay?
Oh, yeah. I would love to talk to you and catch up and all that, but I'm actually just going to be way too busy doing other things.
You mean like going to the casino and coming back home pissed drunk and God knows what time? Because if I recall correctly, that was one of the reasons why you ended up moving out. You said that you were sick of us telling you what to do.
I'm so looking forward to finally moving in with you and Mom and Dad tomorrow. Isn't this exciting, Vicky? Can you believe that we're all going to get to live together just like one big happy family from here on out? It's just so great.
What are you talking about this time? Are you still going on about moving in?
I bet you thought that I had forgotten all about that when you hadn't heard from me for a while, right? Well, don't worry, I haven't forgotten one bit. I'm so sorry for not reaching out sooner. Wait, no, I'm not. I don't really care at all how you are or what you've been up to. But you're probably curious about how I've been, so I'll tell you that I've been doing really well. Thank you. I've just been so excited to move in with you and my parents.
Danny, I still have no idea what on earth you were talking about at all. What are you going on about?
Are you playing dumb or are you actually just that stupid? It's actually the latter, probably, isn't it? Well, don't worry. When I'm there, you're going to smarten up when I make you into my maid. Then you'll have to do whatever I want and you won't have any choice but to obey me.
Danny, you really have no idea what you were talking about at all. Besides, I thought I already told you that you moving in with your parents and I was not going to work. Don't you realize that none of us want or can handle living with you right now? Why can't you just respect our boundaries about that? I mean, you keep talking about moving in with your parents but you seem to be forgetting about your own brother. Have you even talked to Owen about any of this at all yet?
The only thing I need to talk to Owen about is how he could be doing much better than being married to you. But I guess it's a little late to say all that now. It doesn't matter. I'm sure I'll have him wrapped around my finger when I'm home. And then you really will have no choice but to do whatever I say. Isn't that right?
Danny, you have been talking out of your butt this entire time. Do you realize that? I mean, do you not think that we can't all see what's going on here? You got divorced and now you're trying to move back in with your parents. It's very obvious to everyone.
You don't know what you're talking about at all, Vicky, and nobody likes a know-it-all like you anyways. But who cares why I'm coming back home? If I miss my parents and want to be with them, then I can come back and live with them if I want.
I'm not saying that you aren't allowed to come back and live with that. I'm just not really sure that living with your parents is what you really want.
And just what is that supposed to mean, huh? What do you know about what I do and don't want? Do you have any idea just how stressed out I've been over life? You have no idea what I've been going through at all.
Well, I'm very sorry that life isn't feeling very easy for you right now, but that doesn't change the facts on the ground.
The only fact is that I'm getting divorced, and you have no idea the kind of stress that's been putting me through. And the only thing that is going to relieve that stress is moving back in with my family and having you as my servant.
Excuse me? You must know that that's not how this is going to work, right? I mean, you can't actually think I'm going to go along with that, right?
I don't care what you think, because it's not a servant's job to think. Your job is just to do as I say. Get it? And I don't remember even giving you permission to speak, so why don't you shut up until I say otherwise? Because if you don't listen to me, I am going to make sure that you end up on the streets with no one to take care of you. Is that what you want?
I take it from that reaction that you have not said a thing about this to Owen at all.
I don't need to explain myself to every single person that asks. All I'm trying to do is be less stressed in life. Is that really so bad?
Nobody is saying that it's wrong to not want to be stressed. I'm just saying that this is not going to go how you think it is. And I am going to ask you to knock this off a second time. Do you understand me?
And just where did this turn-off attitude come from, huh? You really think you can take me on? Because if it's a fight you want, then I am more than happy to give you one. Let me tell you that. Maybe then at least you'll stop talking back to me and learn how to take orders like a good servant.
Danny, the only person here who has no idea what they are getting themselves into here is you. I can assure you of that. But I am trying to warn you now that none of this is going to go the way you want it to. It's all going to blow up in your face. I'm sure that right now your life is really hard with a lot going on, but you are better off where you are than coming back here.
You really will say anything that comes to your mind to try and keep me from coming back, won't you? Don't you have any shame at all? Don't you realize that you shouldn't mess with me? Don't you know that I could get Owen and you to divorce in a second if I wanted to?
You have to be kidding me with that, right? You don't actually think that you can do that, do you?
Oh, why don't you just wait and see when I get back there, huh? You'll see how obedient of a little brother I really have. And then you'll know to listen to me when I tell you to do something.
Well, then I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but Owen and I actually got a divorce last month.
Wait, what? What do you mean by that?
Oh, I guess you hadn't heard the news yet, huh? You really don't talk with your brother about anything at all, do you? Yeah, him and I aren't together anymore, and I don't live with him or your parents any longer. So, I'm not living with your parents, and when you kept saying you were going to come and live with me, that just wasn't true.
So then, you two really got a divorce, and you're just telling me this now? Are you kidding me? What's the matter with you?
That's right. I did leave your brother, and it's because I couldn't stand living with him anymore. He was nothing but a leech, and so were your good-for-nothing parents. So if you want to come home and live with them, then fine, but that's not my problem anymore.
But I don't get... What do you mean they were leeches? What were they doing to make you say that? I don't get what you're trying to tell me. Can't you just talk to me straight, please?
The only thing that I have to say to you is that you were going to come here and try and use me to get your stress out. But I was already more than stressed having to live with your brother and your horrible parents. So I know for a fact that you moving in would have pushed everything over the edge. And it's not like I didn't really try with Owen and your parents, but I finally hit the limits of patience and could make myself go no further.
But, I mean, why hasn't anyone told me about this? You'd think it would be pretty handy to know that my own brother got divorced.
I didn't bother telling you because I didn't want anything to do with your brother, you, your parents, or any of your family ever again. And you should also know that I am never going back to live with them again.
But wait, I don't get it. The whole reason why I'm coming back is because I owe my husband money, and I thought I could save some by living with my parents.
Well, if that is what your plan was, then I'm afraid that you never had any hope for that to work in the first place.
What is that supposed to mean? Why wouldn't that have worked? You're saying that I won't be able to save money when I move in with my family?
I'm just telling you now that living with your parents is going to be far more expensive than living on your own ever was.
But how can that be? How could it be more expensive to live at home with my parents? That doesn't make any sense at all. What would some housewife like you know about anything?
Well, first of all, I've had a full-time job since last year, thank you very much. And second of all, up until the divorce, I was the one paying for everything for your family.
What do you mean by that? You can't really be serious about that, right? What is going on here?
Do you even talk to your family at all? How have you not heard any of this? What is the matter with you? But if you must know, your whole family is just awful at saving money, and the only thing they are good at is spending it on useless things. The whole reason I found a job is because your lazy brother quit his job and ordered me to work in his place.
But they can't be doing that. Don't they realize how stupid of a decision it is to have you be their only source of income? Please tell me that you're joking right now. I thought that Owen was working for a nice company and made a good salary, but now you're telling me that they've all just come to rely on you?
That's right. So I'm afraid that if you moved back in with them now, you would just end up taking my place for them instead. Maybe at least then you'll believe me when I tell you about all the horrible things that your family had been putting me through before I left.
You have to be lying to me. There is no way that my whole family would act that way towards you. But more importantly, do you really think that's how they would act towards me? I mean, if they were really all being so horrible to you, I guess I really do understand why you ended up divorcing Owen. Sounds to me like they never even made you feel like part of the family.
And you were going to add on to the stress by trying to use me like some kind of servant. So it's not like you're exactly blameless in all of this as well. But anyways, good luck dealing with all that.
Wait, hold on a second. This can't be right. Why am I even listening to you? I mean, you're divorced from my brother, and now you're just telling me lies about my family to try and turn me against them? I can see what you're doing here, you know. I'm not going to be fooled. But I don't even want to see you coming around my family again. It's obvious that you don't have their best interests at heart, and you were the one using them.
Well, that's fine, because like I said, I don't anything to do with them ever again. And if you really think that I would ever come back to them anyways, let me double down on that and tell you never to come to me for help. Because I won't be there for you at all.
Oh, please, you think that anyone would ever need you? You're a good-for-nothing, useless housewife, and that's why my brother left you. So just stay away from my family.
I already told you that I don't want anything to do with your family. How many times are we going to repeat the same conversation?
We're going to keep repeating it until, hypothetically, if this was a script being written by an author with a word count, that word count would be satisfied. Hey, Vicky, are you there? I was just wondering if you and I could talk over the phone for a little bit, maybe? There are just a couple of things that I want to talk to you about.
Well, whatever they are, you can leave me out of it.
Oh, come on, don't be like that, Vicky. Please, I'm your ex-sister-in-law. You have to be there for me.
I really don't have to do anything for you at all if I don't feel like it, Danny. In fact, you told me to stay away from your family, and I told you that I wanted nothing to do with you. So I don't even know why I'm even responding.
Please, just answer the phone. It's really, really important. I need your help right now.
I thought I told you that I would never ever help you if you came and asked me. So what do you think this is going to accomplish for you?
It's just that, well, everything you said was really true. About my family, I mean. I really can't believe it. Not only are my parents jobless, but they and my brother all have huge loans that they need to pay off, and they're all expecting me to help them out. At this rate, my savings are only going to last another week here.
Yeah, well, they're your family, so it sounds like more of a you problem, don't you think? Anyways, I've got better things to do right now, so I'm going to go.
Wait, hold on. You can't just leave. What are you talking about? I tell you that you were right, and that's all you have to say to me? Don't you think you're being just a little too cruel right now?
Not really. I think that I don't owe you anything, and I'm reacting exactly how I told you I would. In fact, you're lucky that I'm even still talking to you. Don't you realize who you are to me?
What do you mean by that? What am I to you?
You're my ex-husband's sister. That basically makes you no one to me. So why are you even messaging me? I thought I told you that I didn't want anything to do with your family anymore.
But this is really, really important, please. We are basically out of money, and I don't know what we're supposed to do. I really, really need your help right now, Vicky.
Look, Danny, we talked about this. We had a long, circular conversation about this, don't you remember? Because if you forget, then let me remind you that I said that I divorced your brother, I moved away from your family, and I would never ever come back to live with them again.
But please, I thought that you would come back and help me if I really needed it. I mean, we're family, right? Isn't that what family is supposed to do when we're in trouble?
And I literally told you that if you came to me to ask for help that I wouldn't do anything. I told you that, don't you remember? So why do you think things would be different now?
Well, because I thought that you would want to help me. I didn't think that you would leave me like this. But that's it. What if you come and live with us instead? How does that sound?
First of all, you and I aren't family, so let's get that straight right now. Second of all, I already said that I'm never ever going back to live with your family, remember? And if you must know, I am loving living by myself. It is gratifying and liberating and so much better than when I was living with Owen and your family. In fact, I hope you all tear each other apart for all that I care. Because like I said, I don't want anything to do with you or your family ever again.
But then, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get out of this mess? I mean, how are any of us supposed to get out of this mess?
Let me change the subject really quick. You got divorced with your husband because you cheated on him, right?
How did you figure that one out?
Well, because I've heard you bragging about it before. So it's not surprising that he found out about it. But anyways, I imagine that when you two did get a divorce that he probably sued you for quite a pretty penny. Here you thought you were going to be able to live with your family and save money to pay them all back. But instead you just joined the rest of your debt-ridden family.
Please, Vicky, things weren't supposed to go this way. I didn't think this was how things were going to end up. I need your help. You've got to do something. Please, move back in with us and help us all out. We need you, Vicky.
In the end, I heard that Danny ended up reaching out to every single other person she could think of for help with her problem. And from what I heard, she had burned just about every bridge she had made with anyone who might have been willing to help her under better circumstances. In the end, I think about half of the people that Danny knew ended up blocking her number. She was expecting to move back in with her parents and not have to worry about a thing. She even thought that I was going to be like a personal servant to her. Danny thought she was going to be able to boss me around while she paid for nothing and only had to worry about herself. But things went far, far off from where Danny thought they would. Instead of being taken care of by her family, Danny found that she was forced to be the main breadwinner for her family. It was obvious to everyone, however, that living like that wasn't sustainable. I heard that Danny and her family ended up selling their family home and moving to a much smaller apartment in the city together. I've heard that each of them have started to work as well. I can't imagine they are saving much money with all of their individual debts. But if you ask me, I think this is just what they all deserve. One can hope that if they do manage to get out of this, that they will have at least learned their lesson. As for me, however, I really was enjoying getting to live alone. After spending my entire time married to Owen, taking care of him and both of his parents, to have just some space for myself was just what I needed. Of course, after a while of being divorced, my heart began to wander and I thought about finding someone new. It was actually just around then that I happened to run into my future husband at the grocery store. We were both grabbing the ingredients for the same recipe that we saw on TV, and that was how he ended up asking me on a date with him. After that, things fell into place rather quickly for us. We're already engaged to be married, and I couldn't be happier. It really does just go to show you what a difference having a healthy and supportive network around can make. But it also highlights the importance of being able to take time to be alone and reflect on things.
Carrie, when are you planning on coming over this year? Normally you always show up unexpectedly, so this year I'd like to have a rough time frame for when you'll be back so that I can have food and all that ready for you. So can you please give me a time when you'll likely be coming back?
Well, that's an odd question to be asking someone like me. You see, that house is my family's house, so I get to choose when I want to be home and don't have to tell anyone. And that means you're not going to hear a thing from me. Now, would you shut up and stop acting like that house has anything to do with you and get back to being my little brother's wife? Seeing you act all dumb and naive like that kind of makes me upset. Well, I suppose you aren't acting dumb or naive at all right now, and that's why you were forced to quit your job, right?
The reason for why I had to end up quitting my job is a reason that you should already be very familiar with, Carrie.
Shut up! Would you stop being so cocky like that towards me when all you are is an in-law? Honestly, you are the worst. How the hell can a complete stranger like you even be allowed in my family's house? You already had to quit your job, so there's pretty much no hope for you at all. Yet you went and crawled into your husband's family's house thinking that that was the next great thing you could do. What is wrong with you, Samantha? I would really like to meet whatever parents ended up raising you. I bet the both of them are just as useless and inexperienced as you are.
I understand that you really don't think highly of me at all, Carrie, but could you please just give me a date for when you think you might be coming back here? I plan on going out shopping for ingredients and things like that, so please let me know when you plan to be here.
For some reason, I think there's a little confusion here. I never said or meant to make you think that I hate you, Samantha. I am. I'm just making sure that a child like you gets a proper education so that you may become an adult like the rest of us. We all know that you just wandered into your husband's parents' home and have been doing whatever you please there this whole time. And the reason that has been allowed to persist is because both my parents are too soft.
Did you just say that I'm here doing whatever I please?
That's what I said. And one piece of evidence that I have to prove that is you having that lock on your bedroom door. Last year when I was there, you had a lock installed on your door, and that was really off to me. How dare you find privacy in my family's home when you're nothing more than my brother's wife?
You're talking about that? I just happened to fix the lock that was already on the door because it had been broken for so long. I rarely even use the lock on that door anyway.
Ugh, this is what I'm talking about. You are not some child anymore, so would you please give it all up already? Samantha, while we're all still being a little bit kind to you, you should take the chance to learn how to be a proper woman and a proper wife to my family.
I'm sorry, but so far not a thing you have said to me has been very kind at all.
Well then, I cannot believe I had to hear from you that you don't even accept my kindness towards you. Then allow me to just forget about being nice. You are not allowed to act as though you are something special to my family when you quit your job and became a parasite to my parents. You should be jealous of someone like me who actually has a job and is far more pretty than you in every aspect. But you're not even jealous or anything, which shows me that you don't understand the position you're in just yet. Just know that for the time being, you have to listen to and do everything I say. And the reason for that is because you're my little brother's wife. You've really done it now, making me eat something like that. Just because you hate me doesn't mean you can do something like that to me.
I do not hate you, and that was not meant to upset you in any way. If anything, it's you that got up and did something terrible to me.
I did something terrible to you? What? What terrible thing are you talking about? I'm the one who's the victim here, so don't start trying to act like you're the one who's hurt. You must always act that way in order to get your way with things. Is your head all right? Do you need to go and speak to a therapist or something about that?
Would you stop talking to me like that? You came home once again without telling us when you'd show up, and as you walked through the door, you began to complain about how tired you were and that you wanted me to make you dinner right then. So I had to hurry up and get something fixed up for you, so don't you get mad at me when this is on you. This is why I asked you when you'd be home, so that I could prepare for you.
Come on now, I was just being real with you is all. And I am. Look at your cooking. I'm not going to say it's all bad, but what you served me was inedible. That's why I told you it tasted like crap. I wouldn't even feed that garbage to some pigs. But the fact that you're getting mad over me just speaking the truth now just goes to show how much of a child you still are. Honestly, I'm not even upset about you calling my food disgusting and saying it's not even fit for pigs. But just because you don't like it and think it tastes disgusting does not give you the right to take that bowl of soup and chuck it at my head. Are you crazy, Carrie? What? You? Are you really saying that about me right now? The only one who's crazy here is you. The one that came into this house without ever paying for a thing, acting like you can just do as you please with no repercussion for it. Jeez, the moment something doesn't go your way, you freak out and act like a baby. And now you're calling me the crazy one for your actions? How hurtful! I am a victim to your harassment of me. I told you that I have not been harassing you. Stop trying to play dumb here, you idiot. I heard both my parents saying that what you cooked them was wonderful and tasted amazing. Yet for some reason my food was disgusting. You made my food disgusting on purpose, didn't you? I am finally back to see all of you again, so you should have A5 Wagyu beef ready for me to eat. You got that bowl of soup to your face because you served me some gross slop.
That's enough from you, Missy. Consider this the end of your life here.
What?
I'm so sorry, Samantha. I did not mean to take your phone and reply to Carrie like that.
You don't have to be sorry for that, Wayne. I'm sure that you were just as fed up with her as I was when you took a look at my phone. So thank you very much for stepping in there and ending that miserable conversation.
Well, of course I was going to end it. I will not sit there watching as my daughter starts to treat you as though you are nothing more than her slave. And what she did to you at the dinner table today was outrageous. Tell me, for how long has my daughter been treating you like that? Before, I had always thought that the two of you got along so well with one another, but what I saw today was anything but.
In front of all you guys, she puts on an act to make it seem as though her and I are close. But in reality, anytime she gets close to coming home, she starts to treat me like I'm lesser than all of you. And she seems to think that because she's my older sister-in-law that I have to listen to everything she says. Anytime I try and say anything back to her, she'll just get upset with me and start to call me an idiot and a child.
Why did you not talk with us about that sooner, Samantha?
I didn't want to say anything bad about your daughter at the time. It would make me feel bad talking about your guys' family in a mean way.
Well, thank you for thinking about how we'd feel. But there is no reason to hold back information about my daughter like that when she's been treating you like a monster.
But Wayne...
So here's what we'll do. We'll make sure you never have to hold any information back from my family again.
What?
You are my daughter, after all. So you have every right to say what you feel about us. And considering that I feel as though you're another daughter of mine, having to see you get hurt today by Carrie really, really upset me. So from here on out, you do everything to make sure Carrie can't hurt you anymore.
Samantha, I'm heading to the next town over today to get some shopping done, so would you get the van for me? I plan to go in 10 minutes, so hurry it up.
Carrie, before you start asking me to do even more things for you, isn't there something we should be talking about?
What? What should we be talking about? I don't have anything to tell you right now, honestly. Don't you hide how you really feel from me. Did you not just throw a bowl of soup at my head yesterday? Yet you still have not apologized to me for any of what happened then, and are now asking me to drive you to the mall? Why do you think I'd still want to listen to anything you have to say and ask from me now? What's all that about? I didn't do anything to deserve having you yell at me like that. You really are nothing but a spoiled brat, huh? The moment something you don't like happens, you quickly start to yell at everyone and anyone hoping for something to comfort you. How old are you again? Please grow up a little bit, all right? That is the reason no company or anything wants you working for them. I want to know what your reason is for always belittling me like that. I get it. I got married a year before you could, but it was just a year, and really that shouldn't mean anything to you anyway. I'm not belittling you over anything, Samantha. It's just the truth that you are below me. What? My husband happens to be a well-regarded elite, yet the man you married, my little brother, is a nobody. And the reason I can say that is because he ended up marrying a completely useless woman like you. Would you shut the hell up already? How dare you start to take jabs at my husband now? I don't care that he's your little brother. You are older than both of us and should be way more mature than that. Ugh, oh my God, getting all upset again, little missy? Nobody ever said you could just start yelling at me like that again. I wonder when the day will come when you just grow up and stop acting like a spoiled brat. Now, would you just get that van out here for me? As my little brother's wife, you should be forced to listen to every little thing I ask of you. I must be a really nice sister to be taking all this crap from you and still not having you kicked out of the house. You! What have you done to me?
Hello, Carrie. You seem a little upset. Might I ask what's happened with you?
Stop playing dumb! What the hell is this? I just got a call from the police saying that I'm being asked to come in as I'm being treated as a suspect now? This is your doing, isn't it?
Ah, you want to talk about that? You've done a whole lot of things to me in the past, Carrie, but what happened yesterday was one step too far, and I wasn't going to take it anymore. And your dad was telling me that when the time came that I couldn't handle what you were doing to me anymore, to not try and withstand it anymore.
Huh? Why the hell is my dad on your side right now? I know for a fact that by getting my dad all caught up in this, you're pissing him off. You cut this crap out right now, Samantha. I have always known you to act like a child, but this time you're being completely ridiculous. Please grow up already.
I've thought about this for a very long time now, but you seem to do everything in your power to continue to think of me as a child.
That's right. I mean, look at you. The moment something happens that you don't like, you just freak out right away and start to cry. And then you get all upset and start to yell at me. At least sometimes a kid ends up calming down and gives up, but in your case, you just keep carrying on whatever made-up grudge you have after flipping out. I have to say, considering that now, you are worse than a child.
So far, it's been you acting like the child here, though, and that's why I find it a little bit concerning that you are still allowed to be treated as an adult.
Excuse me? What did you just say to me? Tell me right now what things I've done that have made me look like a child.
But, Carrie, just like a child, you go about your life lying all the time. You've been talking about me being the one that had to be forced to quit their job and now lives with your parents. Yet you're the one who has never had a job before and continue to just sit around as a housewife. I totally view the job of a housewife as being difficult and much like any other kind of work. But you aren't like other proper housewives. You always say that you never want to do any chores, so you hired a housekeeper to come all the time, and then go out to spend the rest of your husband's money on things like skin treatments and mani-pedis.
Why do you know about that?
Your husband, my brother-in-law. He started to talk with your mom about how your overstepping is becoming a real problem for him.
You eavesdropped on that conversation? What kind of mannerless creature are you?
What? I didn't eavesdrop on that conversation. I'm the one taking care of your mom all the time, so I'm always by your side.
What?
Last year, your mom's legs started to become really bad, and ever since then, she hasn't been able to really care for herself anymore. That's why I ended up quitting my job and moved in with your parents so that I could start watching after your mom. You were asked to come home by your dad already to take care of your mom, but you told him to get lost and have someone else do it. That someone else being me. So that's why I ended up hearing all about you as well, since I'm with her for about 3/4 of the day, every day. Of course, when she tells me she wants to be alone, I'll leave her be, but at the time she was talking to your husband, she kept me around.
There's no way.
I have kept all of this a secret from your dad and your brother in order to not embarrass you any. But I guess there was no point in being kind to you, was there? I've been bearing all of that crap for you for so long, but all this time you still haven't once learned about what you're doing is completely wrong.
Learned that what I'm doing is wrong? I haven't done anything wrong, Samantha. All that crap about me spending money is something my husband and I have to chat about. It should never end up in the ears or mouth of a stranger.
That would normally be the case, right? But that's not what I'm talking about.
What?
This whole time, Carrie, you've been treating me as though I'm a slave of yours or something, right? You rarely ever come back to see your parents and brother, but when you do, every half a year to a year, you have me do all the work for you. You have me come out and get all your things for you. You have me cook all your food for you. You have me clean your room out for you and clean the shower for you. Honestly, all of that I could handle because I've been doing all of that stuff in the house for your mom and dad anyway. But you want to know what you've been doing this whole time that's really gotten me worked up? What I said made you more of a child than me and a very big liar? The fact that whenever you came back to this house, things like my brand bags and my jewelry go missing. But the crazy thing is they don't go missing for long, because every time on the day you're leaving to head back to your house, you wear that jewelry and hold those bags like you didn't just steal them from me. At first, I didn't want to believe what I was seeing, but then I started to think about when the lock to my bedroom broke. And guess what? The day it broke was back when you first came back to this house after I'd already moved in.
That's just, you just happen to have the same jewelry and brand bags that I have.
And whenever I'd ask you about all the things you took from me, you'd reply back by saying they're all yours. Every time, that's what you'd always say. And then you wouldn't just start to get upset with me for asking about my bags and jewelry, but you'd then start to put all those things out and show them to me, saying they were yours and bragging to me like you were some 5th grader. But all those times you'd been like family to me, and I was hoping that at some point in time you'd learn to grow up and stop stealing from me. You and I aren't even related by blood, yet I still viewed you as family and hoped you treating me like crap would end soon. I really, really, really had hope for you, Carrie. But I also really wanted to end all of that by bringing everything up to your family and having them take care of you. However, I was worried about your dad and the fact that he might become depressed hearing about how his middle-aged daughter has still not grown up. So I just kept taking all that crap from you.
Well, then you'd better keep taking it. You really aren't going to be able to handle what I'm serving up this time to you. Have you gone weak or something? Nobody cares that you get treated like garbage by me because that's what every wife like you experiences from their in-laws.
You're really going to say that when it's only you that's been treating me like garbage? After what you did to me with that bowl of soup, your dad told me to not hold back with you any longer. That's why I tore down that wall to defend myself against you and will now be going on the offensive. I'm tired of your crap, Carrie. After considering everything you've done to me, I made the choice to tell the police and asked them to handle your actions now.
You can't do that to me. Things of my brother's wife are also mine, so there's no way the police can come and arrest me over that. Not only are you younger than me by a bit, but the fact that you're now trying to have one of your own family members arrested is insane.
I think it's insane you consider me family now, after all that talk about how I'm a complete stranger.
Shut the hell up! You are just a freaking idiot and have no idea the kind of person I am and how magnificent I can be. Well, no matter. I'm sure the police won't bother with what you've told them and only want me to come see them so that they can let me know how sorry they feel that I have to have an in-law like you. Well, when the time comes that you realize you've lost and not even the law will help you, I'll go and sell all your jewelry as a finishing move. But of course, don't feel as though I'm doing any of that in order to get you riled up.
I really am looking forward to seeing how much longer you'll be willing to act like such a brat. Carrie, just wanted to let you know that before, I had only told the police about how you were stealing from me. But after the way you continued to act yesterday, I made sure to update them about how you had also assaulted me with that bowl of soup. I hope you'll learn to regret everything you've done to me.
You really keep telling the police on me like they'll bother? Well, I'm sorry, but you're just wasting your time, little girl. You don't even have any evidence, yet you keep going to the police with your little crazy episodes. Are you really okay, mentally? Only a brainless idiot like yourself would be able to go through with all that stuff, not noticing how much you've been wasting your time. I'm sure it'll all come to bite you in the butt soon enough.
As of right now, the police are working on writing up a report on you. That will then be sent to an investigator and to a lawyer of my choosing.
Well, I'm not some criminal. There will be nothing they can do about me.
Is that right? I made sure to tell your husband about what's been going on as well, and so far, he's praying that you're not the one at fault for everything.
What? Wait, why would you tell my husband about this? I don't get what you'd have to gain by telling him about this. Well, your house will be searched soon for evidence of you having stolen things from me. And there is also the chance you'll try to tamper with any evidence or witnesses. As of right now, the police see you as a suspect, and one who is very close to being a criminal. You still don't seem to get that, though, do you?
I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't even done anything worth feeling guilty about.
Then please continue doing what you've been doing. If nothing ends up coming from the investigation into you, then your husband won't have to divorce you and you'll be able to remain a part of this family.
What?
You said it yourself, didn't you? That your husband is an elite. And as an elite, he doesn't see the point in having himself a wife that commits crimes all the time. I'm sorry, but so far your husband doesn't seem 100% convinced that you're innocent and has been preparing for the worst. He told me that on his way home from work today, he'll be seeing a lawyer. If not even your husband is willing to side with you anymore, can you really call yourself a good wife? Who knows what'll happen next in a relationship where the husband is actively seeking out help from a lawyer in case his wife really is crazy. I'm sure things won't be ending well for you, though.
You stop that right now. If my elite husband throws me away, then I'll be screwed. If he divorces me, then there'll be nobody left to treat me like the queen I am.
As far as I'm aware, you've never been a queen, so what's the big deal? You need to start understanding that you're pretty much anything but a queen, and that you need to pay for lying to yourself that you are one. And understand that you having to pay for such a thing requires that you will never be able to do as you want again.
No way. Oh, this is all a load of crap. All of this is a freaking lie. Hey, Dad, why are you taking sides with that crappy and mean child? I am your actual little girl, right? All that creature is my brother's crazy wife who needs to learn how to listen and respect me. As my father and her father-in-law, you need to step in and make sure she can't act like a child anymore.
The only daughter I have now is Samantha.
What? What the hell? I'm your real daughter.
You are not my daughter at all. I understand that you have my blood, but even you don't see your mother and I as your real parents, right?
Of course I do. Both you and Mom are very important family to me.
Then tell me, Carrie, what have you done for us in the past 10 years that shows us you are still our loving daughter? When your mother started to have bad legs and couldn't care for herself anymore, you told us to get lost and have Samantha care for us.
That was just bad timing then.
That's right. That's exactly what we expected out of you. The timing wasn't right, and it's not like things mattered to you anyway because both your mother and I won't be around for much longer. You even live pretty close to us and still didn't come at all to see her when she was in the hospital. And outside of maybe a couple of times a year, you never stop over or even call either of us to say hi. Yet all this time, Samantha has been beside us. Even before moving in and leaving her job, she would come over every day after work and make sure your mother and I were fine.
The only reason she can do all of that is because she has all that time on her hands. She must think of herself as all that just for stopping by to see you both every day. Dad, you need to stop being tricked by that witch. She just thinks she can get away with anything now, all because she did a couple nice things for you both. She thinks she needs to be praised for those little insignificant things she's done, and that's not right.
The reason why we all praise her is because she's done enough to deserve it. She went and quit her well-paying job, all in order to move in with us and make sure that my wife, your mother, is being taken care of as her legs get worse and worse. She barely was even a part of the family when she first started to give up her time to come see us, having only just married your brother. Everything she has done and sacrificed for your mother and I are worth praising for, and she knows that. Unlike you, who expects to be spoiled for doing nothing at all.
But there's no way a woman like myself, who's become the wife of an elite, can have time to come out and care for you both. I don't even want to help care for you guys when I have a massive house of my own to live in. Also, those kinds of chores are what's expected from the younger brother's wife.
Did you just call taking care of your own mother and father a chore? That woman has done everything for not just her mother-in-law, but me. We would have been screwed had your brother not married a woman like her, because unlike the both of you, she's actually grown into a fine adult and knows how to take care of her family. Unlike both of you and your brother, who both seem to be indifferent when it comes to your family, she stepped in and made sure that even us two older folk are all right. Everything that your parents have right now is because of her.
Oh, please, Dad, you're the one that's done everything for yourself and for Mom. She hasn't done a single thing besides crawl into that house with you both after giving up the only job she had.
You're still going on like that? Can you just shut the hell up already, Carrie?
What?
You have done nothing for this family, and even when you have come home to us on those rare occasions, you didn't help with any of the chores while asking for Samantha to do everything for you. Something really bad must have happened to you when your mother and I raised you, because we never meant to raise a spoiled brat like you. I'm going to take responsibility for what you've become, and that's why I'm putting my foot down right here.
Putting your foot down?
You are not our daughter anymore. All you are now is a complete stranger to this family. You get out of this house right now and go home. And don't you ever, ever dare come back to this house again. Your mother and I will no longer even look at you when you ask for help. From now on, you are on your own.
What? No way, Dad. Oh, you have to be joking. There's no way you're cutting ties to me now. If you cut ties to me, then where am I going to go home to? Hey, Dad. Listen to me, Dad. Where will I go? Help me, God dang it.
Samantha, Carrie was placed under arrest. Not only was she stealing from you, but also some of her friends' and husband's family members. There was a lot of evidence to prove all of that, so there was no way for her to get away from the police this time.
Wayne, thank you so much for updating me on that. I had honestly thought it was only me that she was stealing from all that time, but I guess there were other victims as well.
I am so sorry for that she had done. Had I done a better job both raising and watching over my daughter, none of this would have happened here. I never did a good enough job as her father, and it shows now.
None of this is your fault, Wayne. Of course kids take a lot from their parents as they get older, but that does not make them exact copies of you. And she is in her 40s now and has had plenty of years now to both correct her ways or only make them worse on her own. Therefore, she only has herself to blame for what she's done.
But
if you're really that upset about what's happened and want to continue blaming yourself, then I'm going to be worried about how you care for your grandchild.
what?
We'd been so focused on Carrie this whole time that it took me a while to find the right time to tell you this. And actually, I have 2 things to tell you about. The first being your wife's legs have actually started to get better again, and she can walk around a bit more on her own. And so I had a talk with her about what to do next, and she feels that it would be both better for herself and better for me that she get herself an actual caretaker. Because, well, I'm going to be having a baby here soon. That's the second piece of news that I needed to update you on. Both myself and your son want you guys to have a grandchild in your lives, and that's why we ended up going all in.
Are you serious? Samantha, you really are the best daughter a man like myself could ever ask for. You already went and spent so many years taking care of my wife as well as me. Now you're wanting to bring us a grandchild. I'm being very serious when I say that you are the best thing that's ever happened to us.
You don't have to thank me that much. This is really only the start of things to come for me, and there will be plenty of challenges I'll need to help with ahead. I might even have to start asking the both of you for some help. So please, in the future, would you be willing to give me a helping hand?
Of course I will. After all you've done for my family, that's the least I could do for you. I'll make sure to be there whenever you need me, and to help with whatever I can.
Thank you very much for saying that. From now on, I want to make sure that everyone helps out in raising my baby, little by little, so that they can one day be an even better adult than all of us. My sister-in-law was taken into custody by the police and would be sitting in jail for months as all the court cases from all of those that she harmed went by. She would end up owing a lot of people a lot of money and would go into some serious debt, paying everyone the amount they deserved. Also, while she was sitting in county going through all the cases, her husband went and handed in their divorce paperwork to the courthouse. After the divorce had gone through and she had been released from being held, she came back to an empty house as her ex had sold everything and moved away. She had no choice but to go to one of her distant aunt's places, as everyone else had already cut ties to her. There, she was forced to start working under her aunt at a store she owned, and would continue working there until she paid every bit of debt she was in off. As for what happened to myself after that mess, I gave birth to a little baby girl. My mother-in-law started to get a lot better on her feet again, and no longer needed much help at all from anyone besides her professional caretaker. My father-in-law has done wonders in making sure to watch after my daughter while I'm out of the house with my husband, and that smile he always had on his face returned as he now has his first grandchild to focus on. Everyone in the family looks to be really happy again, and there's not been one word about Carrie after she paid me back for all the items she stole from me.
Hello, Lola. Thank you again for coming all the way over here to come and spend some time with my family as we all get to know you. And the fact that you're even willing and able to cook is just the most amazing thing for everyone here. We are all so looking forward to what you'll have ready for us by the time lunch starts.
And thank you as well, Verna. It was so kind of you to invite me out here to finally come see the parents of the young woman my son is so very in love with. I have also been having a very fun time with you cooking all these dishes, and I hope you all really do look forward to eating what I've made for you all today. Actually, I really am thankful that you let me help cook this time. It's helped me calm my nerves a little bit, considering that this is my first time being over to you guys' house and first time seeing you in person.
Yes, no worries. I had to make sure you could cook since you come from a moneyless family. But it brings me great joy to see that you can, in fact, work with higher quality foods. I mean, I was almost certain that a lot of appliances in here would be too high-tech for you to understand.
Uh-huh.
Did you have a good look around my kitchen? It's outstanding, right? We make sure to have all the most up-to-date cooking appliances in it so that all our meals are prepared the best. And when you had a chance to look inside our refrigerator, you got to see all our perfect meats and produce, right? We only allow foods that come directly from the sources they are gathered from. And yes, that does mean that a lot of our food is imported, but we're willing to pay that extra price for such delicious ingredients. And when it comes to all my storage in the kitchen, well, as you can see, I make sure that it is all well managed so that I never forget where something is. But of course, this is all possible because of my husband having so many restaurants under his company's name, right?
Yeah. Well, I can tell that you really put a lot of time into your kitchen, Verna. And I hope that you weren't too nervous letting me handle some of those appliances of yours.
I could never begin to imagine the kind of kitchen you must have to work in most of the time back at your home. I'm sure that there aren't nearly the amount of appliances we have in there, and most of your food is probably frozen and disgusting, right? Oh, I just can't see myself ever having to cook in a place like that. Do you guys even clean it out at all, or is most of the leftover foods from last year still sitting around in there?
Well, no, not really, but as for myself, I'm pretty busy with other things, so I never really have the time to work in my kitchen anyway. Nobody's really home anymore either, so that's another reason for not really cooking in there.
Oh, are you like those poor people that never stop working hard in laborious jobs? Well, that must be so tiring for you indeed. I guess that means you force yourself and your son to eat out all the time then. Fast food? That must be so hard on you guys' health, right? Unlike y'all, my family never really has to work hard, so I'm not really able to understand what you guys have to go through.
Well, anyway, before everything we've made up today starts to get cold, let's bring it out to the dining table and get to eating. I'm sure that even Fred and Miley's stomachs are beginning to hurt as we speak.
Good point. But listen, I just had a quick glance at the food you ended up cooking for today. Have you made sure to measure the amount of salt you put into this dish properly?
The amount of salt in it?
It seems that you put quite the emphasis on salt in your dish, using things like soy sauce in it as well as table salt. Are you sure that this dish isn't too salty?
Well, of course I didn't use a huge amount in that dish. Please excuse me, but I added just the appropriate amount of salt I thought was needed as I went along making that dish.
Well, if you haven't measured the amount of sodium properly in your dish, then what would happen to you if perhaps my husband or daughter's health went downhill due to your dish? Well, this is all very unfortunate. I suppose I was better off not asking you to help cook with me.
But when I had asked you for a spoon to measure out the amount of soy sauce I was putting in my dish, you told me you didn't want me touching any of your silverware.
Is that right? So now you're going to make up more excuses for this. Well, for now, I'm going to have to toss all of this in the trash. You're fine with that, right?
Wait, what? You're going to throw away the perfectly good food I just cooked?
That's right. I can't let anyone eat this food when we have no idea what all's inside it. And this all has to happen while my family and yours is saying they're so hungry. Now we're going to have to go back and cook everything from scratch.
I was really doing my best to make sure that everything was properly balanced out in that dish, including the salt. And I have confidence that the dish is perfectly safe for eating.
Huh? Don't make me laugh. I know that moneyless people like yourself never bother to think about making your dishes healthy or not. You guys love to consume your salts, and that's why you all end up being so large.
That is not the case in my family.
Go and throw all that food out for me, please. That should be all right with you, right? Perhaps we should just go out to eat instead today. I'm going to bring the car out for everyone, so you follow behind us, okay?
Uh-huh. You're okay with me coming along with you all as well?
Well, you did come today to talk with my family about the marriage of your son and my daughter that's coming up real soon, right? And so far, we haven't really had the time to talk with you and get to know you more. So when we get to the restaurant, we can all sit down and have plenty of time to talk to one another.
Understood.
So how was it, Lola? This restaurant is pretty special, isn't it? But of course, you've never had the kind of French foods this place has served up before, right?
Well, that's right. But I do know about this restaurant.
Is that so? I'm sure you've seen it on TV or maybe read about it online, right? After all, this is the kind of restaurant that attracts even the most affluent of people to it, so it's very well known all over the world. And I'll have you know that the owner of this place is a close friend of mine. It's because of the support and funding that I gave this place that they were able to even open the restaurant in the first place.
Is that so? Well, that is very interesting indeed.
But, of course, I'm sure that someone like you can't even imagine what kind of place this is on the inside. So let's go on in! And make sure to tell your son Fred to not make any scenes and to handle himself maturely, okay?
My son is not 5 years old anymore, so you really don't have to worry about him. Just worry about yourself and we'll all be fine today.
Well, he only had a mother around him to raise him all his life, so I'm a bit worried about whether he was able to get the right education or not from only you. As for Miley, she has a CEO father to lead her, and a career woman like me to be her mother figure. My husband and I are just so amazing, and she was lucky to be born into our family. So we never have to worry about her being a proper adult.
Huh? Is that so? You often like to talk about yourselves as being a very amazing family and all of that, don't you? It makes me feel very embarrassed about everything.
You can feel all the embarrassment you want, but that's only natural considering you and your son are both losers in this world and will never amount to the success my family has. And since I've made it all the way to the top with my own strength, I have the right to toot my horn every once in a while about it. Anything I think of, I will say. And I have the right to do that, as I'm a winner in this world.
Well, can we stop with all this horn tooting as we're about to go into the restaurant now, right? As of right now, we've just been sitting in our cars in this parking lot for a few minutes now, and I'd kind of like to go inside.
Well, you have a good point, Lola.
Verna, why am I only being served French fries right now while the rest of you get to have actual course-based meals?
Huh? Well, that's because to a poor person like you, all you need is French fries, right?
Hold on. How much longer are you going to come at me like that? Your jokes are getting a bit stale now, so please just treat me as your equal, okay? We are not in middle school anymore either, so let's just be adults about all of this and enjoy the time we get to spend with our kids today.
Huh? Why are you trying to talk to me like you know better when you can't even afford this year's model of cars? I could laugh so hard right now at this. Are you trying your hardest right now to make yourself look better in front of me? It's because of us wealthy people that the poor like you are able to live at all in this world. So please be more kind to me and my family and maybe say thank you more often.
Is that so? By the way, where are you right now?
Right now, I'm outside having myself a cigarette. Is there something wrong?
You're smoking a cigarette? If I remember correctly, this restaurant doesn't allow smoking on the premise, and that means outside as well.
I'm an investor in this restaurant, so I have the right to smoke wherever I please. My goodness. You are trying so hard to find a way to take me down off my high horse, and it is just so adorable.
That isn't what I'm trying to do at all right now, actually.
What's wrong, Lola? Just a few minutes ago, you've started to act like a tough little girl in front of me. You don't have to worry about your appearance in front of me and my family, as we already know the kind of filth you really are. So let's just enjoy our time together, and please enjoy this fine restaurant, as you'll probably never be able to eat here again. Right?
You really like talking down to me like that?
Today is a very special day for our kids. So let's just enjoy this lovely French food, all right? Well, I suppose the rest of us will, while the poor get to enjoy that huge plate of French fries.
Our family is frickin' over with.
Huh?
You. What the hell did you think you were doing? I had a feeling that something was wrong when Lola only received a plate of French fries, unlike the rest of us who are getting served a full course. But then I realized that you were the one that ordered all those fries for her.
Why are you getting all upset with me? I was just doing all of that as a sort of joke is all.
Why are you trying to joke around with her like that? That's not even a joke to most people like her, but rather you trying to offend her.
I'm sorry, Carl, but really, why are you getting so upset over something as small as that? We are all leagues above someone like her and Fred, so what I've done isn't a problem at all for us.
You think that our family is leagues above hers? What the actual hell are you going on about?
Well, I'm correct, right? our family happens to have way more money than that single mother and her childish son have. And it's our family's money that helps keep moneyless freaks like them alive in the first place, right?
I'm so over you right now that I can't even let out a single sigh. That way of thinking is already more than a problem for you. But if you really want to talk about who's above the other here, it's her. Her and her family are leagues above us.
Huh? Why's that?
Why's that? Do you really not know who the hell she is? Right now, Lola is the #1 supporter of my company and has been for a very, very long time.
Huh? Are you sure about that? I never heard a thing about that from someone like you or anyone else.
I know for a fact that I've spoken with you before about how Lola has put a lot of money into my company. But I guess you never listened to what I said to you at all back then. And before we even begin to talk more about what she's done for my company, we need to talk about how you've been treating her. It doesn't matter if she's considered below or above us. The way you've been trying to offend her is not okay.
When you say that she's given a lot to your company, what do you mean?
Like myself, Lola works within the food service business as well, and we are both considered top of our classes in this industry. And when she learned about how I was starting all sorts of business in fine dining across the US, she began to invest in my company, making sure that I was able to get as many restaurants going as possible.
Huh?
And not only has she been investing in my company, but she herself owns plenty of restaurants, ranging from places that specialize in pizza to places that do sushi. She has really been doing it all in this industry, and has made sure that my company does just as well as hers with her support. I can't even raise a finger to her because of how much she's given me. And now you've started to pick on her? What the hell is wrong with you?
But nobody ever told me anything about this, so I had no clue she had that kind of power. I guess I may have heard something like that from you, but I never imagined that the person you were talking about was Lola. All right, I'm going to come back in there right now and have the waiter take back her order and get her a course meal as well.
I've already made sure to order her a proper course here, so you don't have to come back in here. Actually, I'm not going to allow you back in here. You go right back home from here, alright?
Well, why should I have to go home? Aren't you being a jackass right now?
Are you freaking kidding me right now? You just tried to hurt one of the most important people to this family. So having you come back and acting as though nothing ever happened will only make things worse for us. I am not going to allow you to offend her any more than you already have. I'm trying to think of the future of my company now, so go away.
Understood. But how am I supposed to get home all by myself? I can't drive a car or anything like that. You know that, right?
Take a bus or taxi or anything to get you out of the vicinity of this restaurant. Are you really that brainless that you can't even fend for yourself out there?
All right then.
Lola, I am so very sorry for what happened today. I never thought that my wife would ever do something as idiotic as try and make fun of you.
No, don't worry about it, Carl. I've been able to calm myself down now after all of that. Really, all she's done to me now is make me have to think a bit more about a few things.
What things has she made you start thinking about?
Well, about my marriage life and about what I do for a living.
Wait, you don't have to think about all of that because of her. I'll take full responsibility for what she's done to you, and take the full repercussion of it. So please, can you make sure not to harm the project we have going on at the moment?
But it seems that Fred no longer wants to go through with the project. After all, this was all his idea, and he's been left in control of what happens and when it happens regarding this project. I've only stood by his side as an investor to him, and so that new pizza restaurant you both are working on falls on his shoulders, depending on what he decides to do now with it.
Is that right? Well, then there's nothing else that can be done about it then. He had to sit there and watch as my wife made terrible comments about the two of you. And I'm sure that someone like him would never want to continue working together with the husband of a woman like that. Understood. I'll stop with all the selfish comments that I've been making regarding my business and yours, and let you be.
I'm sorry, Carl, but thank you.
But on a very personal note, I am so very sorry for everything.
What is this about you wanting to get a divorce soon? I'm not going to allow you to get a divorce from me.
I have had enough of your childish crap, Verna. And the fact that you might be putting my money at risk now? I don't want you around me ever again. Alright? I doubt you even realize just how important of business I had with someone like Lola and her son. And now, it's all going to be lost because of you. But there is still hope of us being able to make something new work. And to keep that from falling through, I need you to leave me. My job is far more important than some selfish wife, and that's why I want this divorce.
What the hell? Are you really going to sit there telling your own wife that your job is more important to you than her?
It's not the company itself that's more important to me than you are, but those that work for me, and those that work with me that are more important than you.
What?
I am the CEO of a very large company, and I am the one held responsible for all of my employees and customers. And recently, I began a very important project with both Fred and a few other very important customers, and if that project really does fall flat, then I'm going to be the one getting screwed, not you! So I need to do whatever I can to make things right again with Fred, and that means getting rid of you.
So that's your reasoning for wanting to divorce me?
That's exactly right. I'm sure that a long time ago you viewed me as your husband, but all I see from you now is using me as your ATM and your status keeper. So divorcing and cutting ties to you might just help you realize that what you're losing is more than just your money.
So you're gonna throw me away just so I can see that I'm losing my husband? Well, if you do that, I'm going to make you regret throwing a woman like me away.
These past few years, as my company grew and we gained more wealth, I've noticed that your head was getting too big for your body. And after a while, I really started to get tired of hearing you brag about yourself non-stop to everyone we met. I was able to just go on with my life ignoring what you were saying and doing. But today, you crossed the line. What you did to Lola's cooking by throwing it away after saying it wasn't good enough?
Well, come on! It's not my fault that she's so bad at cooking that she could cause you or Marley harm.
She's so bad at cooking? Do you have any clue what you're talking about right now? That woman used to run a restaurant of her own with 2 Michelin stars.
Huh?
But as of now, she no longer runs that restaurant because she's busy operating about 100 others through her company. Lola is a very amazing woman, and her success speaks far louder than whatever lousy cooking you think you could make. To think that you went and threw her food away like that. I was looking forward to trying it all out.
Well, I never knew that. If you would have told me sooner, none of this would ever be happening.
I've had enough. You've done far too much talking today. You really think I want to live with a woman like you after all the horrible things you've done? I want you out of the house by the end of the night. Understood?
Wait, Carl. Hey, Lola, please listen to me. Can you talk with your son and get him to continue with the project he had with my husband?
What's all this about?
Your company and my husband's company have a project going on right now, right? Can you please get that project back on track like it always should have been? Please?
And as of right now, I'm talking with my son about that.
It's because of you talking about it that my husband is going to divorce me soon. So please, I really do feel sorry for what I've done. So get back to having your son work on that project with my husband and let me stay married to my husband.
Are you kidding me, Verna? You're telling me that Carl is divorcing you? I knew that Carl was a man of his company and his employees. He must really want me to see that he does care more about our partnership rather than whatever he had with you.
Stop thinking about it like that. He's telling me he wants me gone so that he can focus on his work full time. That's not okay, right? Don't you feel bad that I'm going to lose my husband because of his selfish behaviors?
I don't feel bad for you at all. I think what he's chosen to do is the right thing and the perfect way of handling the cards he's been dealt. And also, Carl has been a dear friend of mine and a good business partner for a very long time, Verna. To be blunt, he really does care a whole lot about his work, but he cares even more about the people he employs and the customers he has. He is such a powerful man for being that way.
And as his wife, I know all of that better than anyone else.
You do? Well, I guess you know about everything besides who his biggest supporter is and what project he's in the middle of working on, right?
And when it comes to those two things, I happen to just forget about them. Now go call my husband and tell him that you will get your son to continue the project and then have him cancel the divorce.
Are you sure you feel sorry about what you did to me? Because this all seems like anything but you feeling sorry about what you did to me. I have no idea what's made you think you deserve everything in this world at the cost of others.
Well, that's because you don't know the first thing about higher class people like me.
Oh, I do understand people like you, though, Verna. Now, I'm going to call Carl and let him know what both my son and I have been thinking about that project for you.
Really?
Yes, really. And this is all going to be about your divorce from Carl, okay?
Huh?
I'll make sure that he will no longer have to worry about a thing and he can get right back to focusing on his company and his customers. I think Fred will be fine with all of this as well.
Hold on a moment. Why are you trying to bully me now? If I have to leave my husband for good, I'll seriously be all on my own in this world without anyone to help me. Even Miley is telling me that she'll never speak to me again after the divorce.
I am not going to forget about how you sat there in front of my own son making fun of the person I am. I worked so dang hard to raise my son into the man he is today and had to sacrifice a lot to get him here. As a single parent, I had to balance work and parenting to make sure both needs were met. And hearing from you that I failed to raise him properly and have a proper job, I am not going to let you get away with crap like that around me.
You witch! You think you're all that now that my husband is against me? I'll have you know, Lola, that I have plenty of other connections. I told you about how I'm the one that has invested into that French restaurant we went to earlier, right? Even if you try to make me suffer for you being such an emotional witch, I'm going to keep on living as the winner. How does that make you feel, knowing I'll never lose? I bet it stings, right?
Right. I almost forgot to say this. You have been banned from ever entering that restaurant again, so go ahead and toot that horn of yours some more.
Huh? I've been banned from there. What do you think you're talking about? Tell me, what is their reason for having me banned from going into their restaurant?
Well, you proceeded to smoke on the premise of that restaurant and it caused a bother for a lot of the customers coming in and out of there. And this isn't your first time doing that there either, so this was the final straw.
Who do they think they are banning an investor like me from going inside their restaurant? You could pretty much call me the owner of that place and I say that I'm allowed to do what I want there.
Well, if you'd like to know who the real owner of that place is, it's me.
Huh?
Recently, I'd been hearing about how there was someone saying they were a huge investor for my restaurant and that they'd use that to get whatever they wanted from there. And lo and behold, that person turned out to be you of all people. I was shocked when you told me that to my face.
You have to be lying. Because I am...
I didn't ever remember getting any kind of money from you that you wanted invested into my restaurant. That's right. You happen to have a couple of other friends that run high-end restaurants around the city, right? Well, I'd like you to go ahead and tell me what restaurants those are.
No?
Tell me, please. And don't think that I'm going to let you off the hook until you tell me about the other restaurants you're in good relations with, okay? I don't mind how you phrase it as long as you tell me.
Well, there's that one restaurant by the City Hall southern exit.
Right. That's the place that specializes in shrimp, correct? Well, that place also happens to be run by me and my company. What other places do you know?
And I've had enough. Sure, I've been saying that I have connections with a lot of restaurants around here, but what's so bad about that?
I never said that there was anything wrong with that. I happen to brag about my cooking and my whole company a lot, actually, and about how those have made me into the woman I am today. But the only difference is that I don't lie about the strengths I have and then use them to talk down to others.
Hey, I just got a text from Miley saying she's cutting ties to me. I'm seriously going to be all on my own now. Please, can you do something on your end to save me?
Ain't that so? You don't have yourself a job, and you'll soon be without a home as well. Soon your life is going to become pretty difficult, Verna. Well, if you're ever feeling a bit hungry, give me a call, please. I'll make sure to have a fresh plate of hot French fries ready for you to eat. After that, Carl went and took Verna and tossed her out of his house for good. And as for her daughter Miley, she did end up cutting ties with her mom and blocked her just to make sure she could never be contacted again. Since she no longer had a house or family to rely on, Verna went around the city looking for any connections of hers that might be able to help her. But since everyone already knew about how much of a snob she was when bragging about everything in her life, not a soul offered her a hand in helping her out. And as of right now, Verna has gone back to her hometown and is working a pretty dirty job as a pig farmer with one of her long-forgotten uncles. And as for ever contacting me again, I'm not sure if it was due to her pride or just that she was too scared to, but she never contacted me again after I offered to get her French fries whenever she needed them. Fred and Miley were able to have a happy wedding and are now both living together in a penthouse downtown where they plan to start their own family. And as for that project that my Fred was leading on my company's end with Carl, they have gotten back on track and everything is going well there. But unlike the Carl I had been seeing for the past few years, he seemed a whole lot more excited about his job and life again after getting rid of that selfish witch.